Okay, I think I'm streaming. Hello, everyone. This test is for Laricina on Twitch. I should put a link to his Twitch on the stream. Laricina. Laricina, I met when I went to Games Done Quick 2 years ago. And he makes drinks.
Make sure everything's going good.
And recently, he decided that he wants to investigate
post to
how to
Facebook.
improve.
I got a new
his
friend request on
streams.
Facebook today, which
So
is
he's
pretty
looking
unusual.
at cameras, and he was quite
There's
overwhelmed.
someone
with
don't know the
amount
name.
of camera options.
I have.
Oh crap! Test 1 2 testing. Sorry, you might have gotten double audio there for a second. Yeah, you probably did. Oh, there's probably this dude talking in the background. Yeah, when I opened Twitch. Whoops. Okay, anyway, he wanted to test out or see what cameras are good. I suggested the Sony ZV-1. So I decided I would do a stream test to show him what it would look like. So right now, we're shooting on the Sony ZV-1. Obviously, we're using external audio. We're going to use my little cool phone. Yeah. My phone can be a wireless camera. Oh, yes. Anyways, this is the size of camera. A flip-out screen. You can use HDMI. It has audio input, and it also has a 24/7 zoom range. So you can zoom in far closer than is comfortable. And you can zoom out to a reasonably wide angle. I am currently 2 feet away from the camera. So you can keep that in mind for when you are considering what camera to use and if it'll fit in your space, because you want to be able to see like your whole drink mixing and everything. What else is there? The autofocus is really good. I think that's one reason why I would go with this over the other options. Well, actually, no. The other option that I didn't mention to him was the Panasonic G7, which is a great camera, but it doesn't have autofocus. So it's actually a pretty good stream option because the camera's so cheap. You can get it for like $350 used if you're lucky. I managed to find one for $350. It's like sometimes they go for like $450 or $500. I think that's it though. Was there anything else that I should point out to him? I don't think so. Okay, well, since that's I can send him this link. Why don't we just hang out for a bit since we got a bunch of people in the chat anyway. Let me read. Oh, Jeremy Cox creates. How are you liking the ZV-1? I've been looking to get a few for work. I think the ZV-1 is like the most complete camera that maybe exists. Because it fits so many, it does so many things right. Hold on, let me switch back to this second. Look how small that is. That is just the best. Autofocus is great. It's got 4K. You switch to 4K, the field of view is a little bit more narrow. External audio for the screen. Not the best battery life. You can buy cheap extra ones. Picture quality is good. I don't know. It's a very compelling camera, in my opinion. Oh, audio is choppy. Oh, when I switch to that view, the audio gets choppy. Okay, my bad. I'm not sure. I haven't tested with that thing too much, so I won't use that anymore. Okay. Okay, so what kind of mic is this? This is the Behringer XM Ultra Voice XM 8500. Do you know how much this microphone costs? This microphone costs $20. When it comes to voiceover microphones, it's kind of funny because there's lots of times where I want to spend money. I'm like, oh man, I want to upgrade to the top of the line, best available. And then you find out that a $20 microphone sounds as good as a $400 microphone. And you're like, well, okay then. Well, I guess I'll take the $20 one. I've had this. Hold on. Is the audio still messed up? Hold on. Let's figure that out real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Check, check, 1, 2. Is this the audio? Audio, how does that sound? 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Is this the audio? Audio, how does that sound? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, it must have been the phone thing. Let me just disconnect this entirely. Turn that off. And then close this program. All right. There we go. Okay, yeah, the $20 microphone. We've been using this for Adventure Archive since we started. I've owned this particular mic since 2007. 14 years now. It's still just as good as ever. Okay. What was the other question? It was right after that. Have you tried the wide-angle lens attachment? I've spotted those in the wild. The reason why I haven't is because you lose the pocketability of the camera. The putting on a wide-angle attachment, you can't put it in your pocket anymore. So I would rather just deal with the fact that it's not wide when you shoot in 4K and then just find some other way, like put the camera farther away or not do as many selfie shots and stuff. And the stabilization's not bad. Stabilization's not bad. I forgot to mention that. But you wouldn't need that for live streaming anyway. Yeah, just the biggest Achilles heel of this camera is the wide angle, and it is bad. There's not really any way around that. Yeah, it's not good. Although when you shoot in 1080p, which we're doing right now, you get the full 24 millimeters, so it's much more usable. In fact, when I shoot with the A7S III, this is 24 to 105, so it's got the same wideness as the ZV-1 at 1080p, and that always works for me, I feel like. Okay. How are you liking the Moza Air Cross? The Moza Air Cross, we've had it for, man, I don't know, a couple years now. Once we figured out how to balance it, normally you would think that when you balance a gimbal, you want the camera to be facing forward. Like that would be the balance state. But apparently you want the lens to be facing upwards, at least with our gimbal. Once we did that, we got some pretty good results. The battery life's really good. It always lasts for an entire trip. I really don't have any complaints with it. It's not like the most amazingly smooth thing I've ever seen, but it has gotten the job done, and I don't feel a strong desire to upgrade. I think if this one ever craps out, which it doesn't seem very likely that it would, but if it did, we'll maybe start investigating those. Or maybe I'll just give it another year or two and then start investigating. I try not to look at too much camera gear stuff nowadays because... Sorry, 1 second. My current setup is... It fits exactly what I need. And looking at new camera gear now is... It panders to that side of me that just wants to get new stuff and then just look at new technology, and not to the side of me that's like, let's go make something. So I'm very easily influenced when it comes to advertising. If I see an ad for something, I'm like, yeah, I think I need that. And I think that, man, everybody needs to admit that that's true. When people tell me like I'm not affected by advertising, I just want to punch them in the mouth. Because, dude, it's not true. It is not true. You are affected by advertising. You're not affected by certain ads. Like when somebody advertises like some cooking products to me, I don't care about cooking utensils. You cannot do anything to convince me that I'm interested in cooking utensils. But if you show an ad for the Panasonic S5, which for some reason I keep getting ads for the Panasonic S5, like in sidebars and web pages and stuff. I do not need an S5. I have a GH5. I have an A7S III. I have a ZV-1. For God's sake, I don't need another camera. But every time I'm like, that is an appealing camera for some reasons. One of those reasons actually is that they have a 20 to 60 millimeter lens. Why? I need every company to make a 20 to 60 millimeter. I would kill for a 20 to 60 millimeter. I would kill a lot of mosquitoes for a 20 to 60. Okay. All right. The Lumix G81. Okay, let me take a look at the specs for the G81. I mean, honestly, if it's like any of the other, is the G81 the same as the G85? Hold on, I gotta find the specs for this. Did they even still sell this? Maybe it's the same as the G85. If it's a successor to the G7, which this DP review review says that the G85 is the successor to the G7. Let's get the G7 and I'll put that on screen actually. We use that for my mom's live streaming setup. The G87 or the G7 and any other cameras like it is great. It's awesome. The picture quality is like as good in lots of situations as a GH5, like maybe not in the dark. It's super lightweight. If you want to get into photography, you can take off the lens and you can do that type of stuff. Let me see if I can hook this up. Sorry, one second. I don't know where the battery is for this camera, so I got to use the AC adapter, but here we go. Test, test, test. Oh, it's too loud. Testing, test, test, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, test, test, 1, 2. Okay, that's probably good. Maybe a little more. Testing, test, test, 1, 2, test, test, testing, 1, 2. Test, test, testing, 1, 2. Okay. Is it still working? Okay, so the G7. Hold on. Sorry. Where's the ISO button on this thing? I've not used this camera very much, so I'm very unfamiliar with it. So, I mean, picture quality wise, it looks great. Like you can't go wrong with the G7. But the kit lens that comes with it is 28 millimeters, so it's a little bit more cropped in, and it doesn't have autofocus. So every time you move around, you got to do the touchscreen focus, which the touchscreen focus is great. So if you're not going to be moving around a lot, it's fine. And we use it for all of our tripod shots, and it works great. But any type of more dynamic stuff where you're moving around, it's pretty annoying. And especially coming from a Sony camera that has really good autofocus, it's kind of a pain. But if you can get one of these for cheap, I think they're definitely worth it, because you can get it for like half the price of a ZV-1. But yeah, every time you got to autofocus. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the other camera. Testing, test S1, 2. Testing, test S1, 2. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, so G7, G81, whatever. Good to go. So yeah, the ZV-1, when you shoot in 4K, it's more like 30 millimeters at the wide end because of the crop. I don't know what the exact number is, but I think it's 30. Do you need a windscreen for most of your AA episodes? Yes, absolutely. We use the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. I love this microphone so much. It's fantastic. My favorite part about the Pro Plus, besides the fact that it turns on automatically, is that the windscreen, you can actually fully take off this whole piece. It's like it's built for this. And then there's a windscreen that actually has like a proper fitting, and it slides over. So it's much more made for this than in previous models. Like previous models, you just put some foam, or you put like a furry thing on top of the foam, and I felt like that never worked as well. Yeah. I don't mean to advertise food, but man, food gets me every time. Every time I see somebody eating food on TV, I have to go eat it myself. Like, it is especially dangerous with stuff that I have in the house, because there's no barrier. Usually there's the barrier of having to go to the store. But man, if I got like popcorn at home and I see somebody eating popcorn, it's, Okay, so, well, Thomas, what do you have to say about coffee, plaid shirts, and the color purple? Because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. The world needs to know your thoughts on these three topics. Yeah. The G7. I'm answering this question again, but yeah, this was the Panasonic G7. We use this for the garage streaming setup for my mom's dance classes. Although she doesn't teach here anymore. She teaches at the studio now by herself. And she uses a GoPro 8. And that was so that she could hang it from the ceiling. Thank you, Mr. Ballack. I am loving the new car. Man, you guys, if you're looking for a new car and you want it to be electric, but you also don't want it to be fully electric, so you don't have to worry about charging if you don't have a charger, the Chevy Volt, man, it's affordable, dude. Like, you can get a 2017 Chevy Volt for $13,000 on CarMax. I got it from a private seller for a little bit more than that, but the CarMax prices, man, they're kind of cheap, dude. Look into it. I don't know why nobody bought them. Maybe it's because people didn't know about them. Maybe advertising would have helped there. I didn't know what it was. I thought that they were all electric. I didn't realize they were 50 miles electric and then gas. That's much more appealing. I mean, I'd like to have a fully electric car one day, but the prices right now are too much. Yeah, so the everyday lens for the Panasonic Micro Four Thirds stuff is a 12 to 35, which translates to 24 to 70. But the Panasonic S5, they specifically made a new lens that's 20 to 60. 20 to 60 is so useful. 20 to 60, if I had that lens, I wouldn't need any other lenses most of the time. Like last time I made a solo video, I just had this lens, the 24 to 105. Fantastically useful. That's probably more useful than a 20 to 60. But that extra 4 millimeters on the wide end is so nice because when you do those selfie shots, it's weird how much difference 4 millimeters makes. I could show you guys, it's not that important, but anyway, 20 to 60, that, as far as I know, Panasonic's the only one who's made that, and they made it specifically for the S5, but it's awesome. I would love a 20 to 60 for E-mount. Thank you, Daniel K. Yeah, I figured out ISO was D-pad up. But yeah, it does have HDMI out. It's right here. See? Mini HDMI, which is the same as the ZV-1. Yeah, maybe that's an Achilles heel of the GH7. I don't think it has internal stabilization, but you could always get a lens with stabilization. It'd still be all right. It probably wouldn't be as good as the GH5 stabilizer. The GH5 stabilizer... Wow. Mr. Ballack, I will be doing a full review of the Volt at some point. But I would probably get a lot of views from that specific video. I don't know if that would make my channel blow up specifically because they would come for a car review and then they'd try to stay for a car review and realize that I just do laundry. My computer case is from 2007. So Windows XP was... That was definitely Windows XP, right? That wasn't Windows 7 yet, right? I'm not sure. How do you keep the camera safe from rain? Short answer is we don't. Long answer is we should. Test S1, 2. Is audio still soft? Well, hopefully it's okay. The important thing is that it's even. So you can just turn up your volume, hopefully, if I messed it up somehow. But it's probably not even either. Anyway, yeah, so we sometimes use plastic bags, but usually we just end up breaking our cameras. We've broken cameras from the rain many times and lenses and everything. Sometimes out of stupidity, sometimes out of it just doesn't seem like it's raining that hard. It's just such a hassle to put on that plastic bag and it feels like it's doing nothing. And then you have to deal with audio too. I really should look into getting a proper rain setup, which would just be a GoPro, really. Yeah, that seems... yeah. Okay, well, we'll revisit that at some point. What is the AA drone video edited through? I'm not sure what you mean, but we use Adobe Premiere for all of our editing needs. Hello, Rob and Lisa. Thank you for watching. I need a car that can fit timpani and a marimba. Well, let me tell you, a 1992 Toyota Previa will hold a YM1430 Yamaha marimba. Like, you don't have to disassemble it. You can just put it in the car. It's pretty amazing. Van, not car. What capture card do you use to connect to the G7? So I have 2 capture cards right now. I'm using the Live Gamer HD. Let me make sure that's actually the name of it. The Live Gamer HD 2. It's an internal USB capture card. And then I also have the Live Gamer 4K, which when I do 4K streaming, I use that. But this is 1080p 60 specifically so that Larix Laricina can see what it looks like at 1080p 60. I never had Windows Vista. This is basically the same computer I've had since high school. None of the parts are still original, but I went Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10. I skipped Vista. My audio is relatively quiet. I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to make it worse, but I'll try not to be. I'll try to talk as evenly as possible. When am I coming to Florida? Probably never. And I've actually been to Florida a lot. I went there a lot for freelance work. I don't know what it is about that environment, but just every time I go there, it's not so much like I have a bad experience. Something about the temperature and the sun levels and the flatness, it doesn't vibe with me. No offense to Florida. Florida, I'm sure in fact, my buddy Michael, he loves Florida. He talks about how great it is all the time. For me, Florida is not for me, man. Every time I go there, I'm like, let me get out of here. and again, no offense to Florida. Florida's fine. Everyone who lives in Florida, you're great too. It's just Florida's not for me. That being said, if we do an episode there, I'd be willing to go do an episode, but there's nothing in the works right now. Yes, down to just one coat right now. Favorite game on the Switch? Man, I'll be honest with you. The Switch, I barely play it anymore. Kind of the breaking point for me was I got Hardcore Mecha on the Switch. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game. It's an indie game made by a Chinese studio. Like, I didn't even know Chinese studios existed. Awesome game. And it's just a simple 2D side scroller. It's an awesome game. Great action and everything. The music's a little bit disappointing. I'm always disappointed when a game doesn't have good music. But the actual gameplay and stuff, I loved it. There was just so much slowdown. And then you get to this one level where you're in this big ship, and the slowdown was so bad that I literally was like, okay, I can't play this anymore. I bought it on PS4, plays like a dream. And at that point, I was like, dude, I can't keep playing the Switch. The Switch is just, it's so underpowered, it diminishes my enjoyment of the games. Like, I'm not a graphics first person, but when the graphics are so bad that it prevents you from playing the game, like I played the Age of Calamity demo, it's unplayable. It's like 15 frames per second sometimes. I need it to at least be a solid 30. I'll play a solid 30 at 1080p, even 720p, I'll accept that. But when the performance is so bad and the game doesn't even look good, I'm like, yo. So it kind of diminished my enjoyment of the system itself, and I've only been playing on the other systems. But favorite Switch game? What? I can't think of a Switch exclusive that really has rocked my socks off. Maybe Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I think pound for pound, Mario Odyssey was my most enjoyed Switch game. That had no performance problem. It looks beautiful. Plays beautifully too. Breath of the Wild, I want to like that game more than I do. The open-ended nature of that game actually worked against it for me. I'm not a huge fan of open world, just do anything and have infinite options. I really like linear, straight to the point, Breath of the Wild, when I did the main story and I did the main path, I loved it a lot. But as soon as I finished, I eventually loved it. At the very beginning, I was like, dude, I don't know if I like this game. The weapon durability was so annoying. At the beginning of the game, you're dying all the time because you don't know what you're doing. The controls are not very good either. To put run on B and jump on X is so baffling to me, I can't even begin to describe it. Why did they not put run on Y and B as jump? So you could just use your thumb and go like this. In fact, I wanted to make a whole video on why Breath of the Wild's controls are terrible. I never got around to it because I don't need to put that in the world. Like, people complain about games enough. Suffice it to say, Breath of the Wild wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But Mario Odyssey, man, that hit all the right notes. Although on the same token, once you finish that game and you get to the very open-ended looking for the final moons, the game kind of fell apart for me because I didn't know where to go, and it was so granular. Like, you just could spend hours looking in a level for a moon, never find one. And a few months ago, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go use a walkthrough and then find all the missing moons. And then I was like, well, what am I even doing at this point if I'm just using a walkthrough to find the moons? So anyways, I like more structured, you can see everything if you just follow the main path with maybe some side stuff, but that's just my personal predilection. Predilection? I can't remember that one. Predilection. Okay, predilection. Yeah. Any plans to hike the PCT, AT, or CT? The most likely is actually the JMT, because that one's shorter. We could actually do the full thing. Doing parts of the other ones possible. I feel like the AT is probably the least likely, because when I think about the AT, I just think of the Smokies' incredibly difficult up and down hills and just sweating in a jungle. The Smokies is a very sweaty place. I have not tried games like Neo. I watched my buddy AJ play it, and it seemed interesting. But also, I've never gotten into a Dark Souls type of game. Neo's a Dark Souls type of game, right? The art style and the atmosphere has never appealed to me that much. Yeah, and it's funny how much that makes a difference for me. If a game doesn't have an art style and music and a environment and a feel that is at least somewhat cheery, I have a really difficult time getting into it. Which is weird that I like Resident Evil games. Because you'd think I wouldn't like Resident Evil, but something about Resident Evil is just so stupid that it makes it fun again. My favorite Panasonic Lumix lens. I actually still have it. Let me get it out. It's the 10-25 f1.7. This is an amazing lens. I bought it right before the A7S III was announced, and at the time, it was like, why did I wait so long to get this? Because this is a 20-50. Remember earlier I was talking about a 20-60? This is a 20-50, basically, for Micro Four Thirds. And it's super useful. You can just film everything with one lens. It's huge, but it's also pretty light, and it looks amazing. It's one of the best looking lenses I've seen. I also really like the 12-35. The 12-35, if you have a Micro Four Thirds camera and you don't have that lens, you're doing yourself a disservice because you could get away with just having that one lens and never having another lens. But yeah, I'm going to be selling this at some point. I think, yeah, I talked about it in the vlog today, I think, but I'm not sure what to do with these lenses and cameras yet because I don't want to get rid of them and then get a GH and the GH6 get announced and then be like, oh man, I want to go back to the GH6. I could probably sell the GH5, but I'm like, it's just such a good camera that it's hard for me to justify getting rid of it. But I mean, then I would have two A7S3s. I don't know. Going to go on hikes with subscribers anytime soon? Possibly. If we do, it's going to be like what I have done in the past with other viewers where it's just me. We just go on a day trip somewhere. But actually doing something with subscribers for a video, it'd probably be just like what we've done previously too, where we just like meet up with them for a day. There's a couple issues with it. The first one is just planning. We have enough difficulty planning just to get us four. How many of us are there? That's four. Just us four on a trip. To get somebody else involved in that mix would involve getting all of our ducks in a row that we've never been able to do. And second, there's the issue of we don't know the people. So the primary thing is that you want a good episode. And if your rapport with the person is not good, that could be bad. Because most of the time, like 90% of the time, when I've met people, it's been great. It's like you're meeting a kindred spirit. You're like, okay, yeah. Because a big part of that is they can see you for hours and hours and hours. And they know what it would be like to interact with you. I don't know what it'd be like to interact with them necessarily, or not necessarily, but at all. But at least one person has done the screening to see if there's a good rapport. But there have been times where I've met somebody and then at first there's a good rapport. And then after a while, you're like, dude, we have nothing to say to each other. Like something brought us together. But at this point, it's just like a acquaintanceship. That's not a word. Well, it's just like an acquaintance. You know what I'm saying? Have I played any Sekiro? No. Or any thoughts on it? I have not played it. I've watched Brian play it, though. That's slightly more appealing to me than Dark Souls and Neo. What's my favorite game figurine? Well, if I did have to fetch any of it, it'd all be up here. What is my favorite one of all those? Oh, without question, right now, it's the Final Fantasy VII figures. Look at these things, man. Here, let me get my face out of the way so that focuses. Whoever thought of this idea, man, you deserve a raise. You need to get all the money that your company has ever had. I love those things so much. If I ever get rid of any of those figures, those will be the ones that I will hold on to. What's my favorite shirt? I mean, just about when it comes to how much I've worn it, it'd be this one, right? Although it's not really a shirt, it's a jacket. Man, Jeremy, I'll be down to hit up La Rosa's again eventually. Oh, that's surprising there's not live closed captions. Maybe it's because of my latency settings. I thought only ultra low latency didn't have closed captions. Oh, maybe it's not checked. Do I have to check that first before the stream starts? Crap, my bad, Michio. Now that I've had the Outdoor Vitals bag for a while, do you recommend it? Yes, I think it's great. There is a weird contingent of people who are really against Outdoor Vitals. Let me just be upfront about this. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know anything about any company when it comes to camping gear. I have fortunately not been inflicted with the sickness of camera gear the same way I have, or no, with camping gear the same way I have camera gear. Look at this. Look at this table. Obviously, I have the camera gear sickness, but I don't have the camping gear sickness, so I don't know what the difference between all of these brands are. All I know is that this jacket has been very nice, except for these sleeves that have gotten all completely ruined, and they were ruined like on day one. And the Outdoor Vitals sleeping bag has been very warm and very solid. It doesn't have any rips or tears in it, so I'm quite happy with it. Are there better stuff? Or is there better stuff? I don't know. Probably. Better, cheaper stuff? I don't know that either. But these are pretty affordable. This isn't really. I wouldn't recommend this jacket because it's too expensive. But if this jacket were like $60, it'd be great. Oh, you know, as much as I love Tim Rogers, I don't like the insert credit show. I tried listening to it for a while. It didn't float my boat. But yeah, I could listen to Tim Rogers for hours, which makes that really surprising. Maybe I should give it another shot. I definitely need a new tent, though. So I will say that Nemo Hornet is terrible. That's such a crappy tent. I don't understand why it's so bad. Do I still wear Outlier? Yes, I'm wearing an Outlier shirt right now. T-shirt right there. Outlier, outside of, well, I used to like their stuff a lot more. The new stuff that they came up with a lot more. Like the Henley they made, that's my favorite shirt of all time. That's my favorite shirt. I don't have it right now, but I had to get patches for it because it's very... That's the problem with Outlier is the materials they use, they're not very sturdy. So the clothing doesn't last that long and it's really expensive. But the Henley, man, that was like my favorite shirt. It fit perfectly. And then the hoodies that they make are really nice. I don't like hoodies anymore. I mean, I've never really liked them, but I'm so sick of having hoods on the back of my shirts. That's the only reason I've considered replacing this jacket is because I'm just sick of having a hood. Why do they put hoods on everything? Who's needing all these hoods to just go around? My head's so cold. Everybody wears, hats and stuff anyway. And then it's just every time you sit down, it's all this bunching. And then like the heavy hoods, they're like pulling down and like your neck's getting choked at the same time. Oh, man. What was I talking about? Outlier. But yeah, Outlier's pants, the climbers and the classic dungarees, and their just regular ultra-fine merino t-shirts. If they ever stop making those t-shirts, if they ever announce that they're going to stop making those t-shirts, I'm going to buy like 20 of them. Maybe not 20. I'll buy like 5. Because they're so good. Oh, man, they're so good. They are too fragile, but they're so good. Yes, I used it at Zaleski, and it was terrible. Although, when I was talking about it recently, that was after I had already used it at Zaleski. Oh, it's so bad. It gets so wet. Just like water leaks in from everywhere, and it condenses, and then the fabric just rips all over the place. Oh, why? Why did I put up with it for so long? Are you familiar with any jam bands? No, I am not. I assume you mean like Fish. I don't know any other jam bands besides Fish. But no, I don't listen to them. And do I listen to podcasts more than music? Yeah, I think I do. It's just, podcasts is just, I tend to be more of a new information consumer than I am. I listen to music, but I don't listen to it regularly. I'm never going to be able to say that word. And I also listen to the same music over and over again. I very rarely listen to new music, which would help with my music writing, but it's so hard for me because every time I listen to a new song and it doesn't 100% fit my definition of what I want, then I just turn it off. And I'm very unforgiving in that regard. I would like to be more forgiving, but I'm not. Hood neutral. What lo-fi hip-hop artists or styles do you like? The only one I even know of is Nujabes, and I only know his Samurai Champloo stuff, so I'm not familiar enough with them. Have you messaged Craig Adams about it? No, I have not. I would actually like to know his experience with it, though, because I have seen that he uses that tent, and I want to know if it's just I have a lemon or something. Maybe I do have a lemon. I don't know. Well, you could rationalize $200 for the pants because I've had a pair, like the pair of pants that I was wearing in the Timberline video. I've had those for like 6 years. Those pants, like the classic dungarees, those are like indestructible. Those are great pants. The climbers are pretty fragile too. But those I feel like are great value. You spend $200 on a pair of pants, you're going to have them forever. They look amazing. They feel amazing. They're just awesome pants. I mean, who would think of spending $200 on pants? You're like, are you insane? But if that's like the only pair of pants you own. Actually, you know, these jogging pants I have are from American Giant. I don't know if you can see them that well. They were $100. And who would spend $100 on a pair of jogging pants? I agree. But these are also the best jogging pants ever. And I would wear these 24 hours a day if I could. And I kind of do. Nemo, have you solar and waterproofed it? No. And my rebuttal to that is I already spent $300 on that tent. If I still have to solar and waterproof it, what was the $300 I spent on? Which, I mean, maybe that's, you have to do that. And that was something that was, they didn't mention. I don't know. Yeah, basically. I listen to the same stuff I've been listening to for years. I do add new stuff. Like when I hear a new song and I like it, man, I will get into it. But actually actively going out to look for new stuff and then being able to stomach listening to a bunch of random stuff to find something I do like, that's really difficult for me. I don't know why. Please show your setup. Do you use continuous power pack? If you go earlier in the stream, you can actually see the setup. I showed it at the very beginning of the stream. Right now, I'm not using continuous power, but you can USB power this camera. I am using battery power right now. The new episode is out on Patreon. I don't know why the last post you see is the Brian's birthday bash stream, but I will say that I replaced the episode because I took out 2 scenes. I don't know if you guys saw that in the vlog, but what kind of hiking videos inspire you guys? We don't really watch any hiking videos. Does anybody watch them? The stuff that inspired us was Man vs. Wild and Les Stroud, Survivor Man. Now, the stuff, it's really hard for me to watch, me personally, to watch other hiking videos because I get insanely jealous if it has a lot of views. And I'm just being like completely honest. It makes me, if I do that and I watch it, I don't want to feel bad about somebody else's success. So that's why I don't watch also, I don't really enjoy watching other people's hiking videos, and not because they're bad. It's just because it's so close to what I already do. I'll just be looking at it saying, oh, I would have done this. You know what I mean? And then if, like I was saying, if somebody has more views than me, then I'll be like, oh man, they shouldn't have as many views as me. And I hate that. I hate that I feel that way. So I don't want to watch the videos and feel that way and then feel like I'm putting down somebody else's success. Because the people who have lots of views, man, you deserve all the views. They're obviously doing something for somebody, And that's a great thing. And that should be celebrated, not be jealous about. So I try to not do it. But the stuff that inspired us was Man vs. Wild and Survivor Man with Les Stroud. I haven't watched those in years, but man, I would say Man vs. Wild did the most. Les Stroud was really cool, but Man vs. Wild it was so stupid and entertaining. Like he was clearly not doing survival. He was just running around. Like my roommate at the time, I was watching Man vs. Wild, and he was like in some rocky area, just jumping from rock to rock. And he's like, dude, he is jumping around like a monkey in the forest. That is not how you survive. That's how you break an ankle and kill yourself. But they were just so entertaining. And I was like, oh, at that time we were just getting into the outdoors. And I was like, oh man, I love the outdoors. Look at that place. Look at that mountain. And then you drink the water. And then that's what inspired us initially. The second half of the question though, could you talk about the growth of A and how new creators should go about it? I don't have great advice for that. I will say that when we started, we did it foremost creating what we wanted to see. I think that's maybe the guiding star. As far as like algorithm and how you actually get an audience, I don't know. I'm terrible at it. We could probably have way more viewers if I knew what I was doing on that. If we could do a more consistent output. If it weren't for Patreon, we wouldn't still be doing it because we wouldn't be able to afford to just keep spending all of our time doing this and not making any money from it because ad revenue is nothing. But if you want to be a creator, you got to put the cart behind the horse. The horse should be your desire to make something. If you have this burning desire to make something, then the cart will be being able to make a living off of it. Not a good living, but an okay living. You got to start with that. That's like my, I think, principle for everything. It's like, why? It was like when I wanted to be a basketball player. I think back to wanting to be a basketball player. I did not want to be a basketball player because I cared about basketball or even liked basketball. I liked playing basketball, and it was something I did all the time. But thinking back on it, when I stopped playing basketball, like not when I stopped playing basketball, in those times where I was not actively playing basketball, the amount of times I thought about basketball was zero of any unit of measurement possible. 0 minutes, 0 hours, just nothing. I didn't care about basketball. I didn't watch basketball. I mean, I watched the Pacers when I was a kid, but I had no passion for it. So when it came time to actually, like when I got out of college, I went to a few Pro-Am tryouts to try and be on like the D League teams. I went there and I worked really hard and like they even noticed me, but there was no way that was going to be sustainable because my physical size is not enough to just have the talent. You can have the talent, but you have to have the desire to do it as well. You need talent and the desire when you're my size. I only had the talent, no desire. So when like push came to shove, it was just like, yo, this is never going to be sustainable. You're just trying to do this because you think you can make money off of it and get like some, I don't know. And also it almost felt like I was following somebody else's dream. Like, especially growing up in Indiana, a lot of people want to play basketball for a living. I literally lived down the street from Eric Gordon, Houston Rockets player currently, who's 4 years younger than me. When he was in 8th grade, everybody knew he was going to the NBA. We played with him all the time at the JCC. And so my point of that is that there was lots of people who wanted to play basketball and play basketball professionally. But I just never had the desire. Like when I was on the 7th grade basketball team and I played and I didn't get any playing time, which was 7th grade was fine. I shouldn't have gotten any playing time. I wasn't any good. 9th grade when I didn't get any playing time, that scarred me to this day. And it's like one of those mysteries that you'll never have solved. Like there's no way to solve the mystery of why they weren't playing me. That's another time. I still haven't resolved that. I've mostly resolved it, but when I think about it, it still makes me mad. But in 7th grade, I was sitting on the bench, not getting any playing time. And I was more interested in the pep band playing music than I was actually playing basketball. I was like, man, I wish I could be playing that pep band. That looks way funner than basketball. And it was. Like, I should have been, not should have been, but if I had been true to my actual desires, then I would have been in the pep band and not on the basketball team, sitting on the bench, not doing anything. So anyways, that's my long-winded way of saying, man, pursue what excites you, and then hopefully you can find an audience. There's no guarantee, man. Like, I don't even know how we found an audience. We've been working on it for a very long time now, and it's still a pretty small audience. Well, all things considered. I'm perfectly happy with the size of our audience, but yeah, you could be a Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast goes the opposite way. He wanted to have 1 million subscribers. He didn't care what he was making. He was just like, I'm gonna get 1 million subscribers, and I'll find some way to make a video that will get me 1 million subscribers. And the dude is the genius at the algorithm. But did he set out to be like, oh, this is the type of video I want to make? This is the art that I want to make. My particular strategy is to just pursue the art that you want to make and let the other stuff come or not as it will. But life isn't fair, and who knows how to actually do it. Maybe not the best advice. I don't know. Yeah, take from that what you will. Oh, right. I never really did that vlog road trip. I did a few spots, but I never did like a full around the country type of deal. Whose personality is most muted in AA? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I mean, like, just who has the quietest personality? Obviously, that's Bryant. But if you're saying whose personality doesn't show compared to their real life version the most, I feel like we're all pretty close to our real life versions now on the recent episodes. Like the modern episodes. Like maybe the old episodes it was different, but like we're all pretty, pretty much like what we are. Yeah, Will Rogers. I think that's it. Do a solo video near Mount Hood. That'll get you lots of views. And take a picture at the spot that I took a picture. You'll see it. If you do that trail, you'll see that spot. No, that's not my guitar. I think that was my mom's old one. Yeah, my mom's old one. She gave it to our neighbor, and then our neighbor's kids, and then they stopped using it, and then she got it back. I don't think she plays though. I don't play either. So Kevin, that's an interesting thing, because when we got on YouTube in 2013, it already felt like it was too late. It always seems like it's too late to get on YouTube. It is absolutely not. Every day, somebody else makes their way on YouTube. In fact, it's a dude named, I don't know what his full channel name is now. Let me see if I can find it. We met him. Me and Andrew went to... Okay, yeah. Crazy, dude. Crazy. So me and Andrew went to YouTube Live in Orlando. We just got those tickets because of this random contest, National Parks contest I won. We talked to this guy named Nathaniel Drew. You can look him up right now, and you'll be like, oh, he has 1.26 million subscribers. This dude had like 2,000 subscribers when we talked to him at YouTube Live. And anyways, we were both in line for the Fun for Louie thing. He was a super nice guy. We were having a nice chat and whatever. Subscribed to him. Then maybe 2 years ago, I was looking at his videos, and I was like, dude, those videos, those titles are perfect for the algorithm. So perfect. I can't remember. Let me see if I can find which ones they were. Oh, man. Come on. I was like, dude, these young guys, man, they like people who are like in their early 20s, they know the YouTube algorithm the same way that I knew like battle rifle locations on Lockout in Halo 2, you know? Okay, yeah. I tried Ben Franklin's daily schedule for a week. Here's what happened. I looked at that. I was like, dude, that video, that's a great title. That is going to get some clicks. Next thing you knew, this dude blows up. And just these videos, he just had a whole bunch of these videos just like that got into the algorithmic stream. And then just like the talent was there, the luck was there, and then it just bloomed into 1.26 million subscribers. So, and that happened like 2 years ago. So it's never too late. If you've got a great idea and you got a little bit of luck on your side, you'll find an audience. Yeah, like those Japan videos, 100% because of the title and the thumbnail. The Hokkaido video, I was like, you know, this looks like kind of underwater-ish. What's the most interesting thing about this trip that I did? The train went under the water. That's like actually the least interesting part about that video, but that's the most interesting thing to get somebody hooked into the video. Was like, oh, a train going underwater. And then you show that picture of Hakodate and it's so zoomed in and like weird. And there's like, you're like, is that underwater? Can you see that underwater? Like, what is this that I'm looking at? It's a very clickable link. And then the Timberline video is kind of the same thing. You're like, oh, 40 miles alone on the Timberline Trail. And this dude's in front of a mountain. What the heck is this about? And then the northern tip of Japan, that thumbnail is just like very unique. And then you're like, oh, what is the northernmost tip of Japan like? That is, I really think, the key to actually getting views on YouTube. You have to have a video thumbnail and title like that. The quality matters for sure, but to get the really good numbers, that's what you need. You need something like that. Yeah, Ghost Town Living. I've never heard of it, but 700,000 subs in less than a year. You can absolutely thrive on YouTube if you have stuff that people want to watch. Actually, Mr. Beast said that. He was like, yo, I just really feel like if you got stuff that people want to watch and you can find just a way, I don't know if he said this part, but if you can find a way to get in that algorithmic stream where people are getting videos recommended to them on their homepage, you might be able to do it, man. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can fix the test 1 2. This is a test. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. This is a test. Testing 1 2. Okay, maybe that's a little bit louder. Skip the ads. Do not, if you really want to help us, be a patron. The ads don't do anything. They can, but only when we have videos that do ridiculous views. For our normal videos, it would make a million more % difference if you're a patron. Even at $2, that would be way better than be a patron and install ad block. My recommendation. Michio, yeah. Oh, nice. The 26 miles alone in West Virginia. That was a good one. Yeah, that one got way more views than the other solo videos. That was another case of good thumbnail, good title. Wasn't the video quality itself, I don't think was good enough to do like the Timberline video numbers. That was the problem with that one, but yeah. Okay. Well, Michio, now that you joined, I'm actually probably going to be ending soon. If you guys got any final questions, let me know. The reason I'm ending soon is because I need to actually shoot a vlog today. So you guys can have a vlog tomorrow. And also, I need to prepare for a Zumba class that I'm teaching later today. In my opinion, advertising on YouTube is about timing, keywords, and thumbnails. Yep. I think timing is a big thing too, because the YouTube goes through these trends. Like the Nathaniel Drew guy we were talking about earlier, he hit at a time when those I tried something for 30 days videos were doing really well. They might still be doing really well. But there was a moment like when Matt Diavella and Nathaniel Drew, there's probably others too, were just making these videos like, I tried not having a phone for 30 days. This is what happened. I could have made a video like that, but the biggest problem was like, I couldn't imagine myself actually being able to stick with making a video for 30 days. I could totally do that, but that'd be hard, man. That'd be pretty difficult. How much of your income is video versus Zumba versus other stuff? It's pretty much all video now. I make like $20 a class in Zumba. That's like some lunch money, basically. Video is my main income now. What am I most excited about in the near future? The vaccine. Definitely the vaccine. I'm very excited for everybody to have the vaccine and to be able to move around. Oh, perfect. Perfect. So I got a Rick and Morty pocket operator from Teenage Engineering super early and put up a stupid unboxing and got a stupid number of views off of a shitty video. It was just because it was the only one on YouTube for a while. Probably, I think still, my most viewed video on my vlog channel is a Final Fantasy IX iOS video. Let me see if that's still the case. Short by most popular. Yep. Final Fantasy IX iOS first 10 minutes of gameplay, 152,000 views. I uploaded that 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the game was put on the App Store. And I did it because I was just like, oh yeah, I want to put this on here. I would love for people to see this. And that was the only video on YouTube, so it blew up. So when people search for Final Fantasy IX iOS and they just want to see what the game looks like, that's the one they get. But yeah, maybe another answer to the question is, if you want to be a creator, go to Japan. Man, Japan videos do super well. People just love Japan, man. I don't blame them. I love it too. Man, you guys. Okay, yeah, this is the last question. Does vaccine mean shared food again? That is a good question. I don't know how long it's going to take for the PTSD of this experience to wear off to where I would be comfortable, if ever. I don't know if I'd ever be comfortable eating from somebody else's fork, or no, I was going to say not wearing a mask in public. I'll definitely get back to not wearing a mask in public. But man, especially now that I know, or at least have paid more attention to how viral transmission works, like, why wouldn't I wear a mask in public? But it's also kind of like dystopian at the same time. But it's dystopian, yes, but it's also just dealing with the realities of that. We have a very big society now, and there's a lot of interaction when you do international travel, all sorts of diseases and stuff floating through the air. So I don't know, but I do know that I've been having dreams since the pandemic started, that I'm in some public space and I'm not wearing a mask, and I'm like, why am I not wearing a mask? How did I forget this? It happens. I've had that dream like 50 times now. And it's very disturbing because it's like this, it's a bit like living with the Terminator, Like there's this evil force out there that is coming to get you, and you don't know when it's coming to get you. And then you got this one measly layer of protection. Anyway, yeah. So long story short, I don't know if shared food is ever coming back. Oh, Trash Taste Podcast. I watched part of one episode. It seemed like it was pretty entertaining. That's the anime guy, right? I think one of them is called the anime guy, and one of them is Gigic. Gigic's funny. Gigic's videos are quite funny. Okay, anyways, that's the last one. I'm going to read through the rest of the chat, and then I'm going to say peace. Peace out, y'all. Oh, Marie, actually, I did make the other meals. For some reason, I didn't film it. Did I film it? No, I did film it. I haven't made the last one yet. It's like the pancake blueberry one. I don't think there's pancakes, but there's blueberries or something. I don't know. That one's been sitting in my fridge for a while. I got to make that. The new not wearing pants to school dream. Yeah, I never had that dream. But I've had the not wearing a mask dream many times. Yeah, I would just, yeah, who knows, man. Okay. Go get yourself a hot dog. Those things are delicious, man. You get a fresh bun. Hot dog, it plumps up, man. You put that mustard on it. Woo! Okay. Thank you, guys. Hopefully, Larry's Laricina, this was helpful for you. I kind of doubt you watched all the way through, but the beginning is where all the important stuff was. It's focusing on my ear for some reason. It's weird. Yeah, there it goes. Now it's on my eyeball. Okay, thanks, guys and girls. Why doesn't English have a plural you? Thanks, yous. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching today. Hopefully a vlog tomorrow. If not a vlog, then a video version of the podcast. The audio version is always up. Already up. Me and my mom talk about random stuff. I'll see you guys later.